affected landowner an opportunity to make representation with respect to the final engineer's report for the Bachner drain extension. A meeting for the Court of Revision regarding assessment will be scheduled at a later date, and notice will be mailed to the owner of every property that has been assessed into the subject drain. Does any member of council have a disclosure of interest concerning the proposal? Seeing none. Mr. Brooks, you're going to review the process to date for us, I'm told?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Sloan. We're here to consider the Bachner Municipal Drain Report. Request for maintenance under Section 78 of the Drainage Act was filed on March 17th of 2025 for the Bachner Drain. Brandon Widner of Spreet & Associates was appointed on April 15th to prepare the engineer's report. An on-site meeting was held on May 7th of 2025 with the engineer, drainage superintendent, and affected landowners. An informal meeting following that was also held on October 28th to review the draft design and estimated costs. In addition, another follow-up meeting with landowners assessed for benefit was held on November 5th to review construction impacts, and an additional letter was sent to landowners who could not attend that meeting. On November 24th, Mr. Widner filed his final report, which brings us to this evening's meeting to consider the report. Council, tonight, this meeting allows affected landowners to ask questions related to the report and proposed work under Section 78. If there are concerns with the report that council would like to have addressed, council may refer this report back to the engineer. If council's satisfied with the report, it may adopt the report through the first and second reading of the bylaw, which will be considered later tonight.
Thank you. Does any member of council have any questions before I go to questions from the public, please? I'm going to open the meeting to questions from the public. I think I see a couple of names for online, as well as people in the gallery. Is there anyone that wishes to speak to this who's in the gallery, first of all? Ma'am, would you like to come forward, please? Okay. Sorry. Thank you. Do I have anyone online that wishes to speak to the item?
Mayor Sloan, there's no one online.
Mr. McLean, you have your hand up. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Did you wish to speak, sir?
I do. I would request that council delay the decision for 1 month, allowing my engineer to review it more in depth, and that I can have another meeting with Mr. Widner and the drainage superintendent, Sean Waterman, to discuss what was proposed by Mr. Widner and some of the discussions that he's had with him already to date.
Thank you, sir. I also had a lady in the audience that had a question. Are you of the same mind as Mr. McLean, or was there something different you wanted to mention? Okay. Mr. Brooks? Process now is there's been a request for an addition of a month. Are you going to reply to Mr. McLean, or how do we do this?
That decision rests with council on whether they wish to defer the report. Otherwise, they can hear from Mr. Widner to provide, introduce his report so that council knows what it is that they're deciding upon. So maybe Mr. Widner can perhaps address any comments here tonight, but if council...
Thank you. Did council want to hear from Mr. Widner? Yes. Mr. Widner?
So good evening, everybody. Tonight we have the Bachner Drain extension. I don't know if we can put the plan on the screen to help kind of explain some of the details or not, but this drain is located on Fruit Ridge and Centennial in that area. It's actually where the water tower is for the Algon transmission water line. So it starts starts at an existing or a previous gravel pit in a Harris property. There is more Bachner drain downstream of that gravel pit. It was reconstructed a couple times by our office in the past, but we're dealing with what is called the extension, which is the upstream part, Fruit Ridge, heads up to Centennial. It drains the intersection of Fruit Ridge and Centennial. So it starts at the previous gravel pit as an open portion. It is then a closed pipe from 1987. It's a 12-inch plastic tile, which was plowed in with an agricultural drainage plow. That was done under a report by John R. Spree in 1987, and it was plowed in from top to bottom. So obviously there wasn't the restrictions there is now with this drain. As Jeff mentioned, we had a number of meetings on this project, but we have concluded with a design. We have proposed an 18-inch tile of approximately 439 meters from the bottom end to the top end. We are proposing concrete tile in the Marriott property, which is the south side of the road. We then follow along the road. So where it is parallel the road, that is where we are crossing the Elgin transmission line, which is the double water pipelines. The drain then crosses in front of what is Central Elgin's pumping station for Fruit Ridge to avoid the infrastructure coming out of the pump station, as there is a water line on Fruit Ridge to serve, I believe, a small number of homes. We cross the road with a bore. We then venture through a couple residential lots, starting at the Watson property, followed by the McLean's, followed by the Klein property, which is where we're ending the drain. So if you looked at page 2 of the drawing set, there's a more detail on the exact location on where the drain's going. We did alter the drain location based on the meeting that we had in November. We pushed it further away from the existing route in the McLean property. The McLeans have a septic system in their front yard, which was installed after the drain was constructed in '87, and it is in very close proximity. We're also moving the drain slightly on the Klein property to push it to the back of that lot so it doesn't interfere with any future buildings or setbacks. All of this is now in the top end through the residential lots, all sealed pipe. Currently we have a perforated tile, so we have roots and stuff in it. Now Sean, before I was appointed, has did maintenance on this drain. It was cambered. And it's my understanding there was a water line going through the drain in the Watson and McLean property, as well as the tile is crushed in the McLean property in location of the driveway. Total cost of the project is $240,000. As you can see, there is a bore under Fruit Ridge, so there's an assessment of Fruit Ridge, as well as there's some drain located along it. And then, as you can see in the schedules, how the costs are apportioned. Most of the landowners that are heavily affected were at most of the meetings. And we have talked to some since. That being said, this plan essentially hasn't changed for a matter of months, so they've had lots of times to review it. We did have some meetings and we made some small alterations, but it's essentially the same plan that's been presented at each of the meetings.
Thank you. Can I ask if there's anyone from the audience in the gallery here that wishes to now speak to this file? If you wish to come forward and state your name, please. I'm going to have to ask you to just put the press the button for the microphone, please. Thank you.
Oh, beg your pardon. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for taking my call. There's no chance of getting this map, as Brandon had requested, up on the screen, because then everybody can see it quite clearly.
I'll have to defer to the experts.
Now, while they're doing that, in the interest of saving time, I'm sorry, I'm a bit of a newbie here. When we are, this meeting, is it just to discuss how the drain is designed? It's not to discuss who's paying for the drain? Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct.
So I can't if I'm not adjusting or altering the drain, I've got to sit down.
Mr. Brooks?
Through you, Mayor Sloan, once the drain is accepted by council and the first and second reading of the bylaw is passed, a subsequent meeting will be held called the Court of Revision, where residents will be able to come forward and appeal the assessment that has been provided for by the engineer.
You're here because of costs.
And the way the costs are shared.
Okay. Mr. Brooks, that's a separate conversation, or would you want to give some thoughts on this request comment, please?
Yeah, sure. All costs are assessed through, as per the Municipal Drain Act. And that's Mr. Widner's job to assess those costs as per the act. Again, that there will be a subsequent meeting specifically geared to the assessments and landowners' ability to appeal those assessments. So the cost won't change. It's just, it provides landowners the ability to, you know, make an argument for or against a cost going up or down. Now that doesn't change the cost of the drain, it just moves that cost to another landowner or another road authority somewhere else.
It just shares the pie. But there Oh, sorry, have you not heard what I've said?
We have. A couple of people online just got a part of it, but we can paraphrase.
Okay, I apologize for that. So the way the benefit is done, and this is according to your act, or not your act, the Act of Ontario that everybody has been using for the last, I don't know how many, tens of years. The benefit cost is the people who bear the brunt of that cost is the actual property that's getting the work done. But the reason we're getting the work done is because the water's flowing from uphill down to us. Especially, I'm not getting a seal pipe, I'm getting a concrete tile pipe. I'm not going to tile into it, but it's not sealed. These guys are getting a seal pipe. So they're not even getting the benefit of any drainage through their property. It's just a conduit going through them. So you can say this is done legally through the act, but it's not fair on the landowners who are bearing the brunt of it. Just because we're having the work done, just because we're the conduit of it coming through here, the act says we've got to pay. Well, we're not actually getting the real benefit. The real benefit of the people up north. But that's what you're trying to tell me is not for this meeting. This meeting is that we just need a drain done. And the only thing that I could suggest is we put ditches down the side of the road, because the actual roads, and I don't know whose responsibility that is, whose pie or whatever I'm treading on, but they rely on the drain to take the water and salt off their roads. So it's, as far as I'm concerned, the roads should be absorbing a hell of a lot of money because, and even if they did put ditches down the drain, it would come through the Bachner drain and come through my property. So again, I'm a conduit for this.
Okay. Deputy Mayor has a comment?
Through you, Mayor, can Mr. Widner speak to a little bit of how that's put together? I've sat through a couple of those.
Suggest a more thorough meeting with some more time at the next one, perhaps, but Mr. Widner?
So is the question of how the drain's assessed?
Yeah, I think that will help.
So we went through it with these owners, especially Yvonne. We had a half-hour phone call over this morning. So these drains are assessed two ways, benefit and outlet. Benefits derive when the drain's on your property. You get better control of surface, subsurface water. You pay a portion. Outlet is paid by the upstream landowners. So in Yvonne's case, her assessment is mainly generated by benefit. We are crossing her property. Approximately 226 meters is on her property. And you see the same thing with the roads. The roads has a portion of the drain on the property. There's a considerable benefit charged. And as you go up, the people upstream of the Klein property aren't assessed any benefit. They're all paying outlet. So if you look at Floyd Axford, for instance, he owns the farms at the intersections. He only pays on outlet. So that's his water that goes into the drain. That's how it's been assessed. But we can go through that more on the quarter revision. I know Mr. McLean has already reached out on how it was derived, and that was provided to him.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Councillor Griffin, please.
Thank you, through you, to Mr. Widner. Mr. McLean was asking for a little more time because he said that you were engaging with his engineer. Is that something that you feel is more to do with the quarter revision side of things and could wait until then? Or is that something as far as the actual mechanics of the drain? And if so, do you feel that you need additional time for that, or do you feel that it stands as is?
So Mr. McLean has retained the services of another engineer to review the report. We received that 3 o'clock the day. And by conversation with him, he called me at 4:30. I feel unless Mr. McLean wants a drastic change to the drain, for instance, he wants it pushed off his property, which has not been the request to date, we proceed forward. Deferring the report, again, it pushes it further. And this plan was issued essentially in October. We had a meeting downstairs. We've made small changes. We've met on site. You were there yourself. Today at 3, I received something from his engineer that maybe we should push it across the road. Maybe we should do something different. I can't comment on how that engineer even derived at some of those things. I know there was a letter wrote by him, and I can go through it if council wants, but I don't think deferring it is the solution. We have a landowner here who, I hate to say it, his garage floods. And if we defer it, it's going to get pushed to a January meeting, which pushes the quarter revision to February, which pushes the tender till March, which means construction will be late next summer. So that's again your decision. I don't know if that letter was provided to council. It was sent to me at 3.
It was.
And if council wants me to comment on that letter, or Mr. McLean has direct questions regarding it, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you. Mr. McLean, we're going to have to watch our time here because we're getting into the next meeting. I see your hand up. Did you have a question for Mr. Widner as he requested, please?
I don't have a request for Mr. Widner. When I finally found the a engineer to review this, he required the actual report. You guys, I don't have the dates exactly, but you guys mailed it on the 27th of November. I believe I got it Monday or Tuesday of last week. I provided it to him at that date. He came out on the Thursday of last week, made some notes, everything else. Yes, we've had previous meetings with preliminary information. The engineer that I spoke with, again, I'm new to this whole situation. When I purchased the property back in 2018, I didn't even know there was a pipe crossing my property. It has taken some time for my engineer to review some of this information. Like I said, it was early to mid last week. by the time he came out. He's just asking for some more time to go through it thoroughly to make sure that it's the most economical route. Again, it's for the quarter revision. But the financial implication for me as a young family with 4 young kids in the community, it's 10% of that cost I'm paying for. I'm just asking, again, I empathize and sympathize with Mr. Klein's point that he wants to get it fixed. My dilemma is I don't want to delay the project. I just want to make sure that it's done, that we're all satisfied in this as property owners going across residential property. That's where I stand.
Thank you. Council, do you wish to proceed, or what are the thoughts around the table, please? Councillor Watson?
Yeah, through you, Mayor. Yeah, I wish to proceed because Brandon's done thousands, hundreds, if not thousands of these drains, and I feel he knows what he's talking about. So let's discuss this later in the quarter revision. So let's proceed going forward.
Thank you. Not seeing any else, I'm just going to read what you put here. Is that okay? Okay. Everyone has been given a fair opportunity to express their views regarding the engineer's report. Without further questions, please be advised that any person wishing further information on the actions of council regarding the Bachner drain extension should email the deputy clerk at info@centralelgin.org or call the municipal office. This meeting is adjourned at 6:57.